I never thought the words, "we need a break," would come from my wife Emily. We'd been married for 8 years, and while we weren't perfect, I believed we were solid. I'm Daniel, 37, a project manager who values stability. Emily was the spark in my life, bright, witty, and full of energy. Our friends always said we balanced each other well. Me the calm anchor, her the wild flame. That balance, it seemed, was starting to tilt in ways I hadn't seen coming. It was a Friday night in late spring. I had just finished setting the table for dinner when Emily came into the room, her face unusually serious. She sat across from me, pushed her plate aside, and said quietly, "Daniel, I think we need a break." At first, I thought she was joking. A break? From what? We didn't fight often, and when we did, we always found our way back. But the look in her eyes wasn't playful. It was detached, cold, as though she'd been rehearsing this moment. My heart thudded against my ribs. A break. I repeated, struggling to process. From our marriage? She nodded slowly, her hands folded neatly in her lap. I need time to figure things out. I feel suffocated. Like I've lost myself somewhere along the way. Her words were daggers wrapped in velvet. Part of me wanted to reach across the table and hold her, to remind her that marriage is about weathering storms together. But another part of me froze, sensing there was more beneath her calm explanation. That night, sleep evaded me. I replayed every interaction we'd had over the past few months. The late nights at her work functions, the way she seemed distracted when we talked, the distance that had crept in between us without my noticing. I told myself it was stress, that all couples go through rough patches. But her request for a break left me staring at the ceiling with a gnawing pit in my stomach. Something about the timing felt wrong. Something about her tone whispered of secrets she wasn't ready to share. And though I didn't know it yet, her past was about to come crashing back into our present, with the force to shatter everything we had built. The following week felt like living in a house haunted by silence. Emily moved around like a stranger, polite, distant, and locked inside her thoughts. I tried to talk, to pry open whatever was going on, but she always deflected. "I just need space, Daniel. Please understand." Space. That word gnawed at me. We lived under the same roof, yet she was slipping further away with every passing day. I buried myself in work, hoping distraction would numb the ache, but even in crowded meetings, my mind kept drifting back to her unreadable expression across the dinner table. One evening, I came home earlier than usual. Emily wasn't in the living room, but her phone buzzed on the coffee table. I knew I shouldn't look, but temptation pulled me in. A notification flashed, a name I hadn't heard in years. Jason. My stomach dropped. Jason wasn't just anyone. He was her ex-boyfriend, the one she had dated before me. The one she once admitted she would have married if things hadn't fallen apart. Seeing his name on her phone was like watching the fuse of a bomb light up. When she walked in moments later, I tried to mask the storm inside me. "Jason reached out?" I asked casually, though my voice betrayed a tremor. Her face paled. She hesitated, then nodded. "He's back in town." "It's nothing, Daniel. He just wanted to catch up." Nothing. That word burned worse than the silence. Why hadn't she mentioned it earlier? Why did she wait until I stumbled onto it? Over the next few days, little details began to line up like puzzle pieces I didn't want to solve. She dressed differently, subtle touches of makeup on evenings. She claimed she was just meeting a friend. She guarded her phone as though it held state secrets. And when she smiled to herself, a softness in her eyes, I knew that smile wasn't meant for me anymore. The worst part wasn't anger. It was the hollow ache of realizing I might already be losing her. Not to the trials of marriage, but to someone she once loved and maybe still did. That was when it clicked. Her request for a break wasn't about finding herself. It was about making room for Jason. The truth had settled in my chest like a stone. Emily's break was never about us. It was about him. I couldn't let the silence eat me alive anymore. So one evening, when she came home later than usual, I sat at the kitchen table waiting. "Emily," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "We need to stop pretending. Is this about Jason?" Her hand froze halfway as she set down her purse. She didn't answer immediately, and in that pause the air grew heavier. Finally she whispered, I didn't plan for this, Daniel. But when Jason came back, old feelings surfaced. I'm confused. Confused. The word cut deeper than anger. For years of marriage, vows exchanged under the stars, promises whispered in the dark, and now, all reduced to confusion because of a ghost from her past. I could have begged. I could have pleaded for her to remember us, to fight for what we built. But as I looked at her, I realized something painful yet liberating. Love can't survive where it isn't chosen. So I said the hardest words of my life. If your heart is torn between me and him, then you've already made your choice. I won't compete for a place that should have been mine from the start. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't reach for me. She didn't deny it. That silence confirmed everything. The days that followed were brutal. Watching her pack her things, hearing the echo of her footsteps fade down the hallway. It felt like watching a part of myself die. But beneath the grief, there was clarity. I had given her my trust, my loyalty, my love. And if she couldn't see the value in that, then I deserved someone who could. Months later, I stood in that same kitchen, alone but not broken. The shadows of her laughter no longer haunted the walls. Instead, there was peace. Painful peace, yes, but also strength. The kind that comes only from surviving heartbreak. And when I finally stepped outside, breathing in the sharp winter air, I realized that sometimes losing someone you thought was your forever is the only way to find the life and the love you truly deserve.